Hi guys, welcome back to Marantz. Rantz, plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, a whole lot of truth, no financial advice. So I got some messages in the Discord said, Marantz, can you go over this Tony DeNiro video and can you break it down? Because Tony DeNiro just talked about GameStop's quarter 3 earnings. And of course, gave him a price target around $10 and he gave you his reason why and told you book value is not something to look at. Then he tried to explain the balance sheet, which he did completely wrong. And then he said the S&P 500 is a no-go for GameStop. Okay. Well, let's compare GameStop to a lot of other companies if you'd like to. They're out there. It's not going to change my mind as far as what people think they're evaluated, what they're not. I think the X factor here is Ryan Cohen and the ability that he has to invest the money of GameStop into anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be GameStop. You know, if you put your money into GameStop, just to give you an example, you are now making yourself the singular target. To keep the target moving, per se, is to put the money elsewhere where they don't see you coming. Right now, it's a setup. People are looking to pounce. People are looking to destroy GameStop, whether it be a rating of $6 and or a video misleading about the earnings. So I'll explain the errors first. We'll go there first. So right here, here's a video by Tony DeNiro, and I want you guys to hear this part because it's Tony, school's in session.
Getting those costs under control. Looking at the financial statements very quickly at a high level, revenue $1.078 billion. The cost of that revenue, $796 million, yielding a gross profit of $281 million. That gives them a gross operating margin of 26%. And if we go down to the bottom of the table here and look at the history of the gross margin, you can see that they have been making steady improvements at increasing that gross margin. How are they doing that? What is in cost of revenue? How did they drop it so much? You guys have heard about all of the layoffs, the layers of management in the stores that they've been cutting. All of that direct labor cost goes directly into this cost of revenue. And so
I want to stop right there. So he says the cost of payroll and the cuts are a result of cost of revenue. It has nothing to do with cost of revenue. I hope people know cost of revenue has everything to do with what we call margin based off of product, right? Delivering product. It's what we call final delivery in retail. Tony, I know you don't work retail and I know you don't know this part, but right here, I'll even let you Google it so that you understand what is cost of revenue. The term cost of revenue refers to the total cost of manufacturing, delivering a product and service to customers. It has nothing to do with payroll. You know, payroll, if you look at that same balance sheet that you're looking at, Tony, it's listed under operating expenses. And then you'll see it mixed in. That's what they call SG&A, right? Sales, general administrative costs. What that means is that payroll's built in there. If you read the 10K and the 10Qs, it even tells you with the shutdown of these stores, the SG&A will be at a standstill or it's going to have a decrease because of labor. And you'll see that right now, like in the next 10 minutes, you're going to literally do this. Watch this. This is crazy.
So even though it is inconvenient to employees and it is causing a lot of frustration at the staff level in the stores because they don't have all of the managers that they want, they don't have all of the people that they need to operate the stores efficiently, that is how they are achieving this operating margin improvement and the reduction in the cost of revenue. The other
has nothing to do with cost of revenue. Let's just put that again. But I want you to hear him say it himself. Watch this.
Area of improvement that GameStop had here on the income statement is in pink here, the operating expenses or the SG&A, $296 million as a percentage of the net sales for GameStop. That was about 27.5%, a marked improvement from the same quarter a year ago where the operating expenses were about 32.7% of net sales. In the 10Q, GameStop tells us that this improvement in the SG&A is attributable to a reduction in labor-related consulting service costs.
Labor-related. The reduction in labor-related. Like it literally says it verbatim and you read it. That's what the SG&A is representing. I just hope you understand what the hell you're talking about. And the hardest part for me, guys, whenever I hear people tell me to review a balance sheet with someone who doesn't know anything about retail and or the line by line and what it means. When you see SG&A, just think about controllables. Okay, guys? Things that you can control. Labor, you can control outside services, you can control, I would tell you, maintenance fees, and you can control equipment, right? Things that you use, and supplies. You're not going to be able to control the cost of revenue, i.e. the margin that you buy the product for, the freight that you pay to get it to you, and then for you to deliver. That's the cost of revenue. It has nothing to do with payroll. I just want to put that out there. So that's what already threw me off, because I started the video that way and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? He has no idea what he's talking about. Then he went on to tell you about book value and how the ratios is like 3-to-1 on GameStop. And that's the whole point. The whole point that GameStop is $4 a share book versus the stock price at 15. There's not another company, and listen to me clearly, guys, not another company in the retail sector that trades at 30% book versus the price of the stock. You can tell me all the best companies in the world, and their book value is infinitely smaller than GameStop's. GameStop's at the 30, at the 25% book. They're trading at that. The ratio is beyond anything, and it's not built up off of goodwill. So you don't know what you're talking about there. The last part of the video that just, the S&P 500. So Tony says something to the effect of, they're never going to get into the S&P 500. You need a $14.5 billion market cap to get in. Yes, initially last year when you're waiting out the whole thing, right? But let's look at current market caps of the S&P 500. I'll do it with you, Tony, and then you tell me if I'm right or wrong here. But it's $1 billion, and GameStop, okay, just so that we're clear, there is 111 companies at 14.5 or less. 111. So what? 111 shouldn't be in there? Or maybe the bottom half of the S&P 500 is falling apart, like I told you. GameStop has been averaging around $5 to $6 billion this year on market cap. Yes, they're at an all-time low right now at around 4.8, 4 billion, 4.5 billion, whatever it may be. It's okay. But they spike up, they spike down. But they average around 5 billion, right? 5 to 6. That's already beaten out 16 other companies. Like, there are companies at the bottom of the S&P that should not be in there, and I'm showing you them right now. You're looking at Dish Network that's in there at 2.3 billion. Like, I see it. Do you see it? But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a guy that's there. But when you go down this list, GameStop beats a majority of these guys for their market caps where they're at. I've gone over that list. When I went to it, I told you, like, Solar Edge Technologies has an upside down balance sheet. Same thing with, I believe, Sealed Air. They have upside down balance sheet. Mohawk Industries, upside down. Whirlpool, upside down. I went through all this. Hasbro, Catalent, same thing, upside down. VFC, upside down. Meaning GameStop's at a better position than those companies, and they should be the ones inside the S&P 500. The bottom half of it, yes, but look at their market caps. We're talking 3 billion, 2 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion. That's the difference here, Tony. So educate yourself on the whole thing, not just the headlines that you want to read. We're in real time right now. Yes, the economy's coming crashing down. And for people to see the videos and not understand that there's people like this. There's people that make videos. They think they know what they're talking about, and or they talk like they know what they're talking about. But we've already established, Tony, that you're not the expert on GameStop. That tells me by the 600 views on your video, considering you have 21,000 followers, because chances are you burned all your credibility with your AMC pump and your HYMC pump and your APE pump. So I'm here to tell you, oh, and Bed Bath & Beyond. How could I ever forget? You don't know anything about anything. But if you want to be the moral authority when it comes to GameStop, let me know. Come knocking on my door. I've interviewed with you before, and you knew nothing about anything, and you still don't. Yeah, is that even right? Nothing about anything? Whatever. Good luck, T, and good luck with your analysis of GameStop, Mr. $10. I'll be here. I'll be here 10 years from now. I'll be here 5 years from now. Doubt Ryan Cohen. You're on the wrong side of history. Punk.